Hey, what up, guys? I guess welcome back to another episode of the Golf Parfection podcast. I'm joined here by Bryant. He is the owner of Perform for Golf.
That's right. Yeah.
And pretty much, I just went through the whole gambit of doing their analysis, which was great.
He crushed it.
And insightful.
This guy's strong.
Strong, but could use some mobility.
That's why he compresses the ball
and flexibility
so well.
help. But yeah, we're just going to talk about kind of golf fitness and talk about your gym and how it came to be. And then I know you did a webinar on something I'm interested in on like risky swing moves. And you'll hear people are working on the background. This is very impromptu, but hey, we're doing it live. So first of all, let's introduce yourself and then give me the spiel on Perform for Golf.
The spiel on Perform for Golf. Yeah. So myself, my background as an athlete growing up, played a lot of different sports. Golf was something that was like, oh, this is cool, but I'll eventually do it when it's time. So the time finally came in my early 20s as an adult. It's like I can't really be a competitive athlete anymore, and I got to find a competitive outlet. And golf is something you can do competitively by yourself. You can do it outside, and you can do it forever. My goal is like, all right, I just want to be better at this. It's so hard. It's so challenging.
Sure.
How can I just like master this? And I felt like a newbie, and I embraced it. Had ups and downs. Would play a lot, then I would fall off a little bit. But it wasn't until I got into running my own facilities to actually Perform for Life, which is a personal training studio that's for everybody. We have all kinds of athletes. General pop is our bread and butter. And the idea is to be holistic, give them a holistic lifestyle to perform better at whatever it is that is important to them.
Okay. And that's still going?
That's still going, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That started 10 years ago.
Oh, so you ran the gambit. Now you knew how to run the business, and then you slowly transitioned to competitive or playing golf a lot. You're like, I
was putting it together.
Yeah. Okay. So
exactly. So then we started working with golfers. Did the whole TPI thing, and this was 2014. We had a lot of golfers come through, but there just wasn't that much interest in golf fitness because it was so new. Tiger Woods made it popular.
Sure.
And the more and more I did it, I was like, man, this is hard on your body. Like you play 4 hours, you play a weekend with your boys, and you're spent, right?
Tell me about it.
You do a golf trip, and it's like, man, 3 days of playing, 36 holes in one day. Like, this is tough. And the more and more I dived into it, I dove deeper into it, and the more golfers I saw, these guys are getting hurt. These guys aren't taking fitness seriously, and they're elite athletes. It's a power sport. You're explosive.
Sure.
And then you're walking, and then you're going up hills, down hills. You're using, all your energy systems. You gotta be quick. You gotta be strong. You gotta be mobile. And so I really embrace training people for golf because a lot of them, and actually Perform for Life, started off as mainly an injury prevention place. We focus a lot on posture, and it went really well with golf. But it wasn't until the pandemic, 2020, everything came crashing down. We were shut down for 10 months.
Oh, I see.
We had a location, and I started playing a lot of golf. One of the first things you do. But I started really playing golf.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot more. And at that point, I was like, all right, we have this location downtown in the FiDi. We just opened it. Everything's shut down. Everybody's working from home. We got to make this a destination location. I love golf. We got to figure this thing out and pivot. So we changed the Perform for Life downtown FiDi location to Perform for Golf.
Oh, I see.
And we started doing assessments. We put a simulator in there, and we started looking at the body and the swing and the connection between the two, and focus on helping golfers play longer, longevity, have a body that can withstand the game for a long time, injury-free, consistent swing, and then hit the ball further, distance, swing speed. And at that time, actually, Matt, I went back to school, grad school, to be a sports psychology professional.
Oh,
so the mindset piece, and it was like putting it all together.
Yeah, because
fell deeper in love with golf, mindset, strength conditioning, and here we are.
Got it. And then along came Perform for Golf. Okay, so you do Perform for Life and Perform for Golf.
Yep.
Right, and so you said, I guess, did it all start taking off like when the pandemic started to, I guess, end, and you saw a lot more people get interested in the fitness part of it? Like, when did it start taking off? Because for me, fitness, and this is aging me a little bit, but like I didn't even care about any fitness at all. Golf was kind of just this. Maybe you had the same relationship. It was kind of like the side sport. I played water polo and did all this other stuff, and like I didn't like train anything for golf. Right.
Yeah.
And so like
in high school, you play with your buddies.
In high school, for me, there wasn't anything before Tiger Woods. And then even Tiger Woods, that was kind of in a box. Like we knew he trained like really hard.
Yeah.
But like we all can't train like Tiger Woods. But there was no other blueprint to like follow.
Right.
To even work out for golf.
Right.
So like for you, when did you see people flip the switch and say, okay, yeah, golf fitness, they perform for golf. There's a demand for this. Like when did you start seeing it really pick up then?
The real pickup was in the pandemic. And
Okay.
I think for a few reasons. One is the uptake in the game, right? We have 40% more golfers than we did previous to the pandemic. I think just 2 years ago. Now it's probably even more.
Sure. Okay.
It's growing in the junior world. More women are playing. More people of color are playing, which is great. You know, the game is expanding, becoming more popular. And as a result, I think more and more people realize that it's demanding on the body. And it's very unique compared to other sports. So I think having golf fitness be a thing is not just because of the demand and the growth in the game, but also because you're moving in so many different planes, right? You're going side to side. You're bending. You're rotating. You're going up and down. And you're doing something very repetitive over and over again. So you get a lot of muscular imbalances. So injury becomes, you know, something that you should really pay attention to, especially if you're a competitive golfer. Or you really like the game and you haven't been watching your fitness. I think it's something that you should definitely pay attention to for injury prevention, but also just to perform at a high level. Like everybody wants to hit the ball further, right?
Right, yeah.
Tiger Woods made it popular and TPI.
Okay.
I think those two.
Those are the two
to answer your whole
catalysts.
question.
Yeah, that like they kind of started it, but I think what a lot of people, even myself, were thinking like, okay, yeah, maybe at the professional level that makes sense. But I think what you're really exposing or like showing people is that like no, like golfer fitness is important for even amateurs, right? Because for me, like it's my lower back, right?
Yeah.
Debilitating sometimes, can't even play at my top level, right? And so that mind shift change, you know, kind of happened to me even here. Like, oh yeah, you know, like even some of the moves that I was making, like with my hip mobility, my lack of hip mobility, like it's already stopping me from doing what I want in the golf swing. I mean, sure, maybe I can brute force it, you know, with muscle memory and neurologically, right?
Yeah.
I can try to change my swing, but like my body type is already one factor that is blocking me, and I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So, you know, great that you have this, you know, really, really cool facility. Got Steph Curry on the wall back there.
Yeah.
Got Jordan here over there.
You got to represent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Jordan? I'll tell you a story about him. The reason why he's actually in every facility, the reason that is because I think he is a great model or a representation of everybody's an athlete of some kind, and we eventually, a lot of us find golf. You know,
that's so true. Yeah, with a lot of athletes, they come over to golf and they get, because they're all used to being super good at what they do, like the top athletes, and they come to golf and they can't. Golf is one of those unconquerable things, unless you're like a pro who's won all the majors. That's like the pinnacle. But for us everyday people, you know, yeah, sure, we can have one good round, but like, what is that? I've conquered it. I don't think
it's that one good shot around.
Yeah,
you come back
that
for
one good shot around for sure. So that's cool. I like how you have Jordan here and his representation of like, yeah, everyone comes. Yeah, that's cool.
And this guy, I mean, Bay Area legend, and the fact that he's a scratch golfer.
Yeah, that's so unfair.
Cool.
He's so good at basketball. I mean, he's legend at basketball, but then he's won a tournament in golf. So we kind of went into this, but like from a services aspect, what you guys offer. I know you said, you know, get people to get faster, injury prevention, but in terms of like breaking it down, I'm coming into you guys. If you were to come in or like talk to me about the services you offer, like what does that break down into the tangible things? I'm coming to you.
Yep.
What do I purchase or get from you coming to perform for golf?
Yeah. I would say, first off, we basically cater to two different people, the adult golfer and the junior golfer. The junior golfer typically is your high school or middle school competitive golfer wanting to reach a new level, get that edge, right, in their game. Injury prevention is big for them, being more athletic. A lot of them hopefully have played a lot of sports before golf to have that good athletic base, and they haven't, and they're specializing early. Even more important to do the cross training, do the strength, do the agility, all the different movements that are going to make them a better athlete and more bulletproof to injury, and as a result as well, increase their swing speed.
Okay.
And then you got the adult golfer that they're seeking either distance as well off the tee, or it's just playing the game injury-free, feeling better on the course, being healthier. We get a lot of guys that call are just like, hey, I love golf. I got to get more fit. This is a good reason for me to do both, right?
Got it.
So we have that whole range.
Got
As far as how you get started, how does the process work? You come in, you do the analysis. The analysis allows us to see your whole spectrum of athleticism, your profile, your mobility, stability, strength, power, speed, and your swing. And we connect all those dots together to create an exercise prescription to train. And then every month we reassess and we see how we improve on those parameters. And then how your game's changing. And we get, the best kind of feedback we get is, hey, I was able to play 3 rounds and I wasn't tired, my buddies were. Or, hey, I won $50 a day. I never won betting with my friends. Or I'm hitting the ball 15 yards further off the tee. Those are the kind of stories that we hear, and the problem we're solving, really.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, it's cool to be broken down into those two, I guess, clientele bases. One is the adult, one is the youth. So it's cool here. So yeah, how it's broken down is, I'm just reiterating what you're saying, and I went through part of this, is the analysis, get all your data points, and then working with like Mike or Brandon, they create a plan that you come in and work on with them to build up your weaknesses, maybe improve a little bit of your strengths, and then reassess and see, boom, where you are on paper, where you've improved, and then hopefully that results into on the course, strokes gained or driving distance. And then for me, it would be more like, okay, playing without pain in the lower back.
My lower back and that's first. Like, if you got lower back pain and you also want to hit it further, priority is lower back pain, because that's going to prevent you from hitting it further. And if you hurt your back, you can't even play.
Right. Got it.
Yeah. As a result, for you, it's like what? Hip mobility, pelvic stability. A lot of that can be improved with some of the stuff we do. And you know what, Matt? One of the questions is like, well, why not just do fitness? What's golf fitness? We were talking about this earlier. Golf fitness is really controlling your pelvis in space, doing movements in a golf posture. So what does that mean? Like, your arms got to raise up, right? While you rotate your hips. You got to do exercises that are similar. But you also got to do exercises that are the exact opposite, because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So you got to balance out the different muscle groups.
Yeah, I think the imbalance thing I didn't really think about. Like, hey, if you're training on one side, like if you don't, you're gonna lose, the whatever you got on the opposite side going on. If you don't train that, it's gonna result, like you said, injury. Right?
That's right.
Got it. So to give a little bit of background for me, I used to lift pretty heavy, hurt my lower back, so don't lift heavy anymore. But all I do is like Orange Theory.
Yeah.
And that's just enough cardio for me. That's for other health reasons. But didn't really do anything golf specific. So that's why I kind of came here to check it out. And it's really eye opening for sure.
Nice.
So I like what you guys got here.
Thanks, man. I think one thing to say is synergistic training is probably the best kind of golf fitness. And what that means is the golf swing is asking you to be mobile, stable, and powerful all at once. So you should train movements that require all three all at once. Now, you're never going to get max power, max speed, max mobility doing all three, but you're going to do a lot of what the golf swing is asking you to do. So what does that mean? Like, you should be doing exercises where you're balancing on one leg while rotating, for example. So you're having to maintain stability. You're having to rotate just like you would in the golf swing, and you're having to be mobile in your trunk.
Sure.
While being on one leg, which you're never really pushing off both legs at the same time, right? You're pushing off one, then the other. Then you're finishing on one. So you should be doing all three together throughout the week, throughout the session, throughout even one exercise.
So one question I had, so like the certifications and everything that you have here amongst your staff and maybe amongst yourself. So what are we know TPI, right?
Yep.
Maybe we'll talk a little about TPI, how you're supposed to get into that, but what are the other ones?
Yeah.
So let's talk about TPI. So I know, for those who don't know TPI, maybe you can explain that, and then what does it take to get that cert? And then I think other staff have that, right?
Yeah.
So can we go into that a little bit?
Yeah, Titleist Performance Institute. So they basically, as you guys know, Titleist is a big brand in making golf balls, clubs, everything.
Yeah.
And they started actually with the Performance Institute in Oceanside as a way to keep golfers playing the game longer, believe it or not. So the average golfer loses like 6 balls around, they said. So that's a lot of money, a lot of balls. So like, hey, golfers are actually dropping in the 90s. The rate of participation was dropping. So like, we got to figure this out. Too many of them are getting hurt or frustrated with not playing well. And so much of swing instruction is just do more of this, do more of that. People's bodies can't actually do those things the golf instructor may be telling them.
Yeah.
And if they're getting hurt, well, they're not going to play the game. They're not going to lose balls. So we got to come up with something to keep people playing the game longer. So that's how TPI developed.
Yeah.
It's a rigorous credential that requires you to really understand the human body and the swing and the connection between the two. There's different levels, there's different focuses and avenues.
Okay.
So there's a golf one where it's really for swing instructors to understand the body better. There is a power one, how to maximize swing speed.
Okay.
There's a fitness one, how to incorporate golf fitness and be a golf fitness coach, I should say. There is a junior one just for juniors.
Wow.
And there's a medical one just for injuries.
Wow.
So there's 3 tracks.
So it's super
and there's 3
built out.
levels within each track.
Got it. So, I mean, it's interesting to hear that. I didn't know TPI. I mean, because like maybe back when it was founded, golf, there was like not jeopardy of it going away, but like the amount of players was more on the decline than.
Yes.
So it was kind of birthed, and
their mission was to get more golfers playing
that's
the game
interesting.
longer.
And now they have a different, I think, ethos. Is that that's still true to their core, but now it's like also performance.
Yeah, now it's really about performance. How do we get golfers better? How do we get them the edge?
Interesting.
How do we get them to really peak?
Got it. And so you said there's like 3 levels of certification or what have you.
5 different branches
Okay.
and 3 different levels within each of those branches.
So for your establishment, for Perform for Golf, so what is it yours are at? Like,
Everybody's got
say?
TPI. Everybody does level 1.
Okay.
And then specializations, we all got different ones.
Okay. Try to
depending
branch
on
it
our
out.
track.
Okay. So
where
you
our
have like
focus are.
diversity
Yeah.
to offer multiple services with your staff, which is cool.
Yes.
Got it. So if someone needs like, speed or strength or medical, that's where you have your, people. Like, do you like send them off to get more TPI instruction, or they already came with?
They already came. It's very interdisciplinary, but we'll refer them out to, if they need someone more on the medical side, we'll refer them out.
Okay, cool. So there's a whole network.
There's a whole network.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool and interesting to hear about TPI. I think there's one other cert you had on your website, CS, or is it CS something?
Oh, the CSCS is a Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist.
Okay.
So that one is basically you have to have a kinesiology degree, and you're able to work with athletes and understand athletic population needs rather than just like as a personal trainer.
I see.
Just working with anybody and getting them healthier. It's specialized on working with athletes.
Got it. So it's not like it's beyond the P. Yeah, because I feel like that's what makes it like legitimate, right? The TPI, all these certifications, and I think if someone's like casually looking for golf fitness, they're going to be like, golf fitness, like how's that a thing? But those certifications are like, it's been tested, it's been researched. Like this is what you need to do. They have all these results that they get from TPI.
They have data on the PGA, LPGA, and like norms on how strong you should be, how mobile you should be.
Yeah.
What's outside that norm?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, like, if you were to tell, not like an ignorant golf, like anti-golf person, but I go to a gym just for golf, they're gonna be like, what does that even mean?
I think some people say that. Yeah,
I'm
we
sure.
do get some reactions, and they're like, what is that?
Yeah, like they come in,
explain
they walk around like, this is for golf, you know, like. Because like we're not always considered like athletes or whatever, but TPI and those certifications kind of like legitimize all the efforts that are being done, and putting work into the gym will get you those results. So that's pretty cool. So I wanted to touch on the certifications that your staff have and what you guys have to offer from that kind of level to not to say for those naysayers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's legitimate. Like we have the kinesiology background. We have the CSCS, Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, the TPI, and there's other subsidiary certifications that you can get. Like Golf Digest has one now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so everyone's getting into the game.
Yeah, they are.
Everyone's getting into the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Matt, on like the uptake in the game over the last 4 years? Since,
it's been
COVID-19?
been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I think with the growth, I'm not sure if the industry was ready to the industry as it wasn't ready in terms of it getting this big. For our sakes, the Bay Area courses are now very crowded.
Yeah.
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like I played in high school, went to college, stopped playing, and then didn't really play all that much until like COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then I picked it back up.
Yeah.
Right. And
And you went in deep.
Yeah. We've got a YouTube channel, blah, blah, whatever.
And here we are with golf Parfection.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem is that there's like more golfers, but we had golf courses closed and not reopened in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Right. But as soon as I'm not sure it was going to take to get more courses made. Plus, there's a lot of environmental implications, and then land is not cheap.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's good for the game, and then I think now with how popular it is, it's good for a business like this to provide this kind of service to really, like you said, get golfers to play longer. Because I think it's like my age everyone my age who's picking it up, they're starting to realize if they play it as much as I do, like it's not like something that's sustainable in terms of, you know, keeping your lower back healthy or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why this is cool that this is here, and it's gonna really come alive, I think, when people like me get a little older
Yeah.
and want to keep on playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's, you know, more golfers is good, but then it's great that it's allowing for things like this to come to fruition and, you know, ultimately serve something that we didn't really think about maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now then, like your current clientele base, like can you like percentage wise divvy up what you're seeing in terms of your clients? Like is it mostly, I know you have some pros like a list on the website, you have some adults, you have youth, like what percentages are we talking, or if you're allowed to disclose?
No, yeah, it's about, I would say right now it's about a quarter, 25% are juniors and 75% adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We envision it'll probably be somewhere similar, maybe 33% juniors and you know 67% adults.
Okay.
Yeah, is what we envision.
Got it.
I think the junior game is going to rise, and the competitive junior, high school, middle school, getting ready for college, that just keeps growing, and we keep getting more of that. And you know, as we venture more further into the East Bay and further in the South Bay, I think we'll see more of that.
Got it. Yeah, because
in the city, of course, you don't see as many juniors, but here in San Mateo, we do.
Okay.
And then in Oakland, we see quite a few there as well. So.
Yeah, I think golf also it's like so hard because like not only is just the golf swing difficult as it is, but then like you focus so much on the swing. I think what you're doing is like also introducing how much the fitness is an important part of it. But to do everything, it's a lot of time and work.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But like at least you guys can help streamline that and identify right away what people need in the youth at least to get that competitive edge because it's so competitive. It was not that competitive when I was a kid in high school or whatever, and I didn't play like any of the circuits or anything. I wasn't imagining going pro or anything, but like for people who are trying to be competitive, it's like crazy.
Yeah,
it's
picked up the demand and the amount of new golfers that picked up the game during the pandemic is crazy. So which is great for the game. You know,
100%.
It's becoming cool to play golf now. These juniors, they play basketball, they play golf, they play all these sports, and they're like deciding to play golf over the other ones.
Yeah.
By the time they're 13, 14, 15, you know.
Definitely was not the cool sport. I just played it because I could play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, if I were to do it all over again with knowing what I would take it more seriously for sure.
Yeah.
And make it more of my thing.
I should.
Everyone always says that. I wish I started early.
That's why I tell every kid who plays other sports right now, like, pick up golf because you're going to end up playing it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10, but you're eventually going to be playing it.
For sure. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, and we kind of talked about like, golf and the moves are really tough on your back, and there's certain moves that like could be over time not good for you, right? And so I know you were doing like a little webinar. I can link it or whatever. Yeah. Let's go into that. Like talk about that topic. So I think you used Will's Outdoors as a subject matter.
Yeah.
And then so let's talk about the dangerous moves, but then also I'm sure you tied in Perform for Golf. Like how can that help in that kind of way? So
So the 3 dangerous moves we talked about, and there's probably a lot more, but there definitely is a lot more. But and I would argue definitely 2 of these 3 are the most dangerous, and they are excessive side bend.
Oh, okay.
Side bending too much.
Yeah.
Like more than 65, 66 degrees.
Okay.
Can be very hard on your very hard on your lower back. Right-handed golfer, you're going to feel a lot of right lower back pain. Those compressive forces over and over again. And in order to withstand those, there's really a couple things. One is become stronger, more resilient.
Sure.
So if it takes you 10,000 swings to get hurt, hopefully it's 11,000 swings before you get hurt. And you're not going to get there because you're not going to do 11,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just becoming more resilient. The other is trying to minimize the amount of movement of side bend, for example. Right? You got to get less side bend. So how do you do that? You got to train anti-lateral flexion. So I have to do an exercise where, let's say I have a band pulling me that way, and I'm pushing it overhead, and it's pulling me that way, so it's side bending me. And I'm actually preventing side bend.
I see.
It's trying to pull me this way, but I'm preventing it.
Okay.
As an example, exercise to help control that trunk. bringing it to their awareness. I mean, are they experiencing pain? Look at your swing. You can use Sportsbox AI or something like that to be able to say, hey, are they outside the norms? Oh wow, they're feeling some lower back pain. They're side bending 69 degrees. It's outside the normal range. We should probably address this. We should do some training to support exercises that are going to help support that are going to prevent that excessive side bend, but also exercises that are going to help put them in that position so they can become more resilient.
It's one thing to teach a swing, but then like how do you even know if one is even equipped physically to even do that swing?
Yeah,
right.
and then they come in, they're like, man, I hurt my back, let me see your swing. It's like, exactly. Some of these juniors,
they're just cranking it,
they have
right?
so much mobility, they haven't strength trained.
Yeah.
And they're 14, 15, and hey, what other sports? Oh, Johnny stopped playing everything when he was 10. He's just been doing golf for the last 5 years. And just swinging away with that side bend.
Yeah, so like as it gets popular amongst the youth more and more, they start picking up earlier and earlier. And I feel like the technology is crazy to where like people are always chasing speed and all that, and they disregard.
Matt, you
know,
you nailed it. No, you nailed it. Speed six, all that stack, it's all good. Do it. It's so long as you have a good foundation of strength and stability, and you got good posture.
Sure.
Don't put speed on top of a faulty foundation.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's the top of the pyramid. Build the base first.
I see.
Get stronger, get more mobile, have better posture, and then build that speed. Sexy, it's cool, yeah. We all want to get faster.
Everyone just like immediately looks at the launch monitor. Oh yeah, 160 plus ball speed on the driver, you know?
Yeah.
But I think with that technology, it gets addicting to try to get there.
Yeah, it does.
Regardless of how you achieve it. And so you can learn bad habits or whatever, but
small doses. Speed training, small doses.
Okay, good to know on that.
Unless you have a really good base, you can pick it up.
It's a PSA right there.
PSA. And then I'll say this, for the adult, the riskiest move I see, this is your typical 35 plus, sits at a desk most of their life, drives a car.
It's going to apply to me right here.
Rounded shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't turn their thoracic spine very well, and they're not really good at separating the upper body from the lower body. Now, again, another golf fitness move is the ability to separate these two, because you got to create lag, right? You got to get the hips out of the way, the trunk trails behind, then it goes. They never go at the same time. You got to be able to move those two rotationally, the trunk and the pelvis. But a lot of times people get restricted up here, and they get restricted in the hips, so they tip towards the target.
Oh,
as you get into their backswing, right? You want to be here.
Oh, and they like whip.
And they start doing this. No, in their backswing.
Oh.
So they do this because they can't
turn all the way.
They can't turn, so they got to figure out a way to get their arms up and turn, so they tip towards the target. Puts a lot of strain in your lower back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the side bend at the top towards the target on the backswing.
On the backswing is the other version of excessive side bend that you see
in older
adults. Yeah, mature adults a lot.
Probably
but even the 35 plus. Yeah. Definitely in the 65 plus group.
Interesting, because they're trying to like swing as far back as they used to.
Correct.
Instead of rotating and having that flexibility, they're just kind of cheating it by doing that extra move. Yeah.
Exactly. So for them, it's getting a lot of that mobility back, getting that pelvis to be more controlled as well, and then create that separation between the two.
Got it. Okay, so that was pretty. I mean, I'm sure the webinar goes. I mean, there's a ton more information on that, but the highlight was those two for the youth, one for the adult.
Yeah, the third, I guess we didn't touch on it, is S posture. I even have it. We all have it.
Oh yeah, the little S in the back.
The rounding here, and then a little bit of arching here. So just being mindful of your address, your setup posture will set up your backswing, which will set up your downswing.
Got it.
So get your core in check, get your mid back more extended, and better able to rotate.
All right, so thanks for sharing all that with me, taking a moment to sit down and talk about Perform for Golf, kind of where you see fitness for the golf industry amongst the youth and the adults. I'm sure it's opened a whole new world for you, because transitioning from the Perform for Life to Perform for Golf. So that's cool that you got to share your story.
This is my passion, man.
Yeah.
This is where I spend all my time now.
For sure.
In the Perform for Golf world, and and not to mention we do mental skills coaching as well.
Yeah, so and that's another big thing too that we could probably have a whole nother thing on.
Stay tuned. That'll be next time.
Next time. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. Keep chasing. See you in the next one.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.